Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com. Let's talk about the rematch of a fight I got wrong. I'll own up to it. Champion Giovani Segura has granted a rematch to former champion Ivan Calderon. That fight is taking place this weekend in Mexico. Now, before I say another word, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. In the first fight, I thought Ivan Calderon was going to successfully defend his belt. We're talking about the light flyweight division. Calderon is a boxer's boxer, phenomenally talented. He's actually the fighter who was in the ring with Oscar De La Hoya when De La Hoya was training with Freddie Roach, where, because Calderon was getting the better of Oscar De La Hoya, Freddie Roach concluded that Oscar was a shot fighter. When Roach later had the opportunity, he was fired by Oscar. This was training for Oscar's fight against Floyd Mayweather. Roach got his revenge when his fighter, Manny Pacquiao, jumped up 2 weight classes to take on De La Hoya. And Roach has said in interviews that after seeing De La Hoya against Calderon, he realized that his fighter, Manny Pacquiao, had an opportunity. Well, let's just say I was expecting Calderon, who really is a technician's technician, to use his southpaw stance, unorthodox stance, use his great jab, use hand speed and movement to neutralize and dismantle Giovani Segura. Now, let me just say I was wrong. Segura was and is much better than I anticipated. Segura throws looping punches. I thought he was, a bit slower than Calderon. In fact, let's face it, who isn't slower than Calderon? I thought Segura was going to be frustrated by Calderon's experience and cleverness. Instead, what we got in that first fight was a well-deserved knockout by Giovani Segura. Segura smothered Calderon. Segura landed heavy shots. The knockout isn't a lucky knockout, because if you look at the judges' scorecards before the knockout, Segura was already winning that fight. By the way, the last fight, Segura is Mexican, Calderon is Puerto Rican. The last fight was in Puerto Rico, and Segura, as great fighters do, went to his opponent's home country and literally outboxed and then knocked out his opponent, who was then the reigning champion. Sadly, for Calderon, a great fighter, and I hate to see great fighters get roughed up late in their careers, but sadly for Calderon, I think that's going to be the knockout. I think that's going to be the outcome in this fight as well. I know in my book I've written that counterpunchers tend to do better in rematches, but just understand that's if they have cracked the code of their opponent. In other words, the counterpuncher has to have figured out, the rhythm, the pattern, the punch pattern of their opponent to then have something to build on. Here, I don't think punch pattern matters. I think what you're dealing with here is an older ex-champion. Calderon, I believe, is 36 years old, in with a young guy who hits harder and who, and I believe this is the secret to Giovani Segura, who has excellent foot speed. Don't judge him off the hand speed. Judge him off the foot speed. We saw recently in Powell Wolak's demolition of Yuri Foreman a situation where a fighter with great foot speed was able to hunt down a gifted moving technician, right? Well, that's exactly what happened in the first fight between these two. I believe that's exactly what's going to happen here. In other words, when Segura, who is the bigger man, he's 4 inches taller than Calderon, when Segura cuts off the ring and is right up on Ivan Calderon. The question is, what does Calderon, with a 16% knockout ratio, what does Calderon have to keep Segura off of him? And my response to that is not enough. I believe this fight is a replay of the first fight. I'm expecting it, in fact, to be accelerated. The first fight went 8 rounds. I wouldn't be surprised if this fight goes less than 8 rounds, because now both guys know that Segura has the talent and has the power to stop Calderon. Calderon just doesn't have enough to keep Segura off of him. He doesn't have enough of a punch to dissuade Segura from getting up close on him. And while Segura throws looping punches, kind of like Antonio Margarito, he throws punches both to the head and to the body. He's a very smart fighter. There is a method to his approach. I expect Calderon to be taken out in this fight. I would not be surprised if Calderon throws in the towel from his corner after getting battered for a few rounds, instead of suffering the humiliation of actually getting knocked out again. I like Giovani Segura in this fight, and let me know what you think. Leave your comments for me here on YouTube. Visit us at gamblersadvisory.com. Thanks for watching.